Now here discuss the rainfall pattern in India. None of you have written the rainfall pattern. Most of you have written distribution of rainfall. This is a term used in syllabus itself. What do you mean by pattern? The English word pattern, what is its meaning?
Continuous erratic.
Now, what is the meaning of pattern? Spatial and temporal variation.
We find a similarity pattern. Same pattern is being followed.
What do you mean by pattern?
It's a kind of a format that is observed over a period of time. Standard.
If you look at dictionary, simply geometric shape. That is pattern. Here we seriously have flaw in the method of study. I am telling you, I am questioning the way you read, the way you study, because the term itself must be clear. Rainfall pattern is different from rainfall distribution, right? Our rainfall variability is different from rainfall distribution and is different from rainfall pattern. The geometric shape is rainfall pattern. You can have national pattern, you can have regional pattern, you can have seasonal pattern, you can have intra-seasonal pattern, you can have intra-regional pattern. Now rainfall pattern, when you have an aerial view, what is the shape the rain is attaining? That geometric shape the rainfall is attaining. Drainage pattern and drainage system. It's two different things. The pattern is when you look from the aerial, from the atmosphere, what is the shape all the streams together with its mother stream is attaining, that is drainage pattern. The network of a stream is drainage system, antecedent system. It's not a pattern. Consequent system. But the moment you call drainage pattern, trellis, right? Dendritic, rectangular shape is it is attaining. So if you look at the rainfall pattern in India, that means the entire rain system, what is the normal shape it will attain, that is pattern. Distribution will be a component of it, but you should write as if you are writing pattern. It's not distribution, right? So firstly, rainfall pattern, when you see that, this is definitely variable, which plays a very important role, not only affecting agriculture. If you write about introduction, the rainfall pattern, you can have several introduction here, but it's better to include the holistic aspect. Pattern will include, it will affect agriculture, water resources, water transport, etc. All things related with water, that will affect. You can begin with the understanding of it. Suppose if you are not going to write this way, you can start with understanding of rainfall pattern. Is very important from water management, forest management, hydroelectricity generation, irrigation system, right? Since India is a vast country, the variability or the diversity is very much conspicuously present in the pattern of rainfall as well, right? Second line, in continuation of this, the vastness not only in size but also in topography or physiography makes the rainfall pattern highly varied in India. Right? Then you talk about national pattern, regional pattern, seasonal pattern, intra-seasonal, intra-regional. Distribution is one component, that is generally regional pattern, even not intra-regional pattern. When you talk about very high rainfall, very low rainfall, again in the process you should talk about pattern rather than distribution, right? What is national pattern of rainfall? Sorry? That is seasonal. National means the whole nation receives over a period of time. So average rainfall you will talk about. You will begin with national pattern, average rainfall with huge variation, highly erratic. You can make a flow chart of this pattern also. Then national pattern, begin with average rainfall, 100 roughly 17 centimeter, right? Some books write 110 also. Now you talk about variation into it. Rainfall pattern is, even the national pattern is highly variable, associated with the complexities of monsoon system. For example, pattern varies associated because of the complexities of monsoon system. Now here you are not supposed to talk only about the southwest monsoon, because you are talking about national pattern. So fundamentally it is variable because of monsoon system, though we receive rainfall from other sources as well. But its complexities associated with monsoon system. For example, in an El Nino year, the pattern is different. Since you are talking about pattern, tell the examiner every time that I am talking about pattern. I am not talking about distribution. In fact, it is about distribution only, variation in the distribution. But pattern, what is the shape it will attain? So in an El Nino year, the shape will be slightly different. The national shape of rainfall distribution will be slightly different as compared to other year. El Nino year, the pattern is slightly on the drier side. This El Nino, you can talk about water circulation, the variation in the water circulation, variation in what is happening on the Tibetan highland, the associated subtropical westerly jet stream. But we don't need to go into the chemistry of it, because you are not supposed to discuss about the mechanism of monsoon. You are talking about the rainfall pattern. So give as much emphasis on rainfall pattern rather than the mechanism behind it. Take less word, because the moment you have suggested, even for, if you can write that, for example, the impact of El Nino, water circulation, situation in Tibetan highland and the subtropical westerly jet stream has a lot of impact over the pattern, which keeps on changing over the period of times.
So what diagram can we draw for this?
Huh?
What diagram can we draw for this?
There is no need to draw a diagram here. Is it necessary to draw a diagram in
They
every?
ask it for a separate short answer. National pattern of rainfall.
Pattern of rainfall, you can talk about this. For national pattern, you don't need to draw, but you can draw 2-3 diagrams in the regional pattern, intra-regional variation, seasonal pattern you can draw. Like winter rainfall, summer rainfall, then lull period in between it. Then maybe winter rainfall associated with northeast monsoon, winter rainfall associated with western disturbances. Then intra-regional variation, you can show arrow. I'm coming to that. Regional variation. Now, it should appear different from the distribution, but the content will be only distribution itself, where you don't need to give figures also. It is because you are talking about the pattern. So here, regional pattern is highly varied again, is different. There is a conspicuous different pattern found in different regions in our country. For example, the highest rainfall receiving regions are western portion of Western Ghat, northeastern states, eastern Himalayas, Andaman Nicobar Island. In one go itself talk about, and the lowest rainfall is observed in Western Plain area and Ladakh Plateau. The rest of the country shows a pattern with moderate amount of rainfall. Don't give too much emphasis on distribution here, right? Rest of the country receives moderate amount of rainfall. Right here talk about the intra-regional variation. All of you know, in northern plain, when we move from east to west, the rainfall decreases. This is one pattern. What is the pattern? In Peninsular Plateau in general, the pattern is this: from Western Ghat eastward, very close to Eastern Ghat, the rainfall decreases, and the coastal plain, this is again the pattern. The convergence zone is 100 cm iso height. You can draw that line also, right? Then in the Himalayan region, it decreases this way and it decreases this way. This is a pattern. The whole of northern plain, if you start from Chota Nagpur Plateau and all, keeps on decreasing up till the west. There is a pattern. Whole Himalayan region, including that, east to west, there is a decrease. Western Ghat, eastward it is decreasing. In coastal plain, westward it is increasing. Peninsular Plateau, if you move southward, the western portion increases. If you look at that, the intra-regional variation. So whenever you have Western Ghat, rainfall in this side increases, and this side the increases. Along the western coast of Western Ghat, the rainfall decreases from south to north. Along the leeward side of Western Ghat, it decreases from north to south because of the height of Western Ghat. Since the increasing height of Western Ghat will have greater impact over the windward side and equally greater impact over the leeward side. So the pattern is the intra-regional variation. So you talk about the variation, intra-regional variation. You can make a diagram of it also. You can make the diagram of regional variation also. What is seasonal pattern? Dominated summer, rainy season, southwest monsoon period. Almost 75% of rainfall is received in just 3 months, and the 25% is received in the rest of the months. Even that 25%, 75% is received in the severe winter season through western disturbances. Then that provides unity that whole of India receives rainfall during southwest monsoon, talk the exception above Tamil Nadu. Northeast monsoon, except Tamil Nadu, mainland, most of the states do not receive from northeast monsoon. Then talk about western disturbances. And winter rainfall, which makes the pattern with 2 maxima and 2 minima. One maxima is July to September, and minima is generally November, December, October, November. Again maxima is December to March, and then March to April is minima. So we have 4 distinct seasons produced because of the distribution of rainfall, 2 maxima and 2 minima. Right? Again, you can talk about pattern is largely variable the way you want to conclude.
Is it so that seasonal pattern is same as temporal variation?
The same temporal variation is seasonal. Temporal pattern, temporal means with time, and time is associated with season. So then we are talking about the intra-seasonal variation. If you have enough scope, you can talk about southwest monsoon. In that 3 months, still there is breaks in monsoon, and that breaks very often is of 10 to 15 days, even at times more than that. Then you can talk about the breaks and its variation in different parts. When you move from south to north, the duration of monsoon decreases, right? The breaks also increases, the length of the break increases. If you have enough, the information is huge. Now it depends upon you how to justify that, how to write that. The process should be this. If the question is about rainfall pattern, you should always use the term pattern. The pattern is this, the pattern is this, the pattern is this. Not the highest rainfall receiving region in a separate way, as if you are writing about the distribution.